The power of the morally grey character. It's gone past midnight here, and the streets are amazingly quiet. My accommodation in Zagreb is very different to what I had in the previous city, Budapest. A lot larger, therefore comfier, and it's on the ground floor, so easier access for the dogs. A lot of the daily traffic noise is gone, as I'm tucked away, and further from the city and major roads. The only noises I encounter are birdsong, the gentle roar of an engine as the occasional vehicle goes down the quiet narrow street, the sound of a dog being walked by its owner, occasionally a door slamming shut to keep out the offensive heat. However, this level of peace doesn't quite silence my brain, and instead I start to think, so I get out of bed, make some ginger honey and tea, and write. I got an email from a reader the other day. She had a question about some of my characters. It was an odd one, and I've never seen anything like it. Did you like the books? I asked. Yes, I loved them, she responded. I normally love a good romance in my fantasy storytelling, and this was all just fantasy, with quite a bit of reality. She couldn't quite figure out why she loved the books. I was rooting for them all, both sides, even the enemy at the end. I finally understood. She wanted to understand why she felt this way. After all, she should have just picked a clear side. Just for clarity, The Dwellers Beneath the Arches is a fantasy series about friends who discover a magical world beneath London. Although I write fantasy, the reason my readers seem to like my books is the heavy doses of reality in them as well. The personal strifes and trials people would face in our real world, illness, bereavement, pain. None of that losing your best friend one day, then going off to fight the enemy the next in a fit of rage. I calmly explain to the reader that there are a lot of morally grey characters in the books. Good isn't just good, and bad isn't just bad. How terribly boring would that be? Everyone at some point makes questionable decisions, betrays a friend, or does what they promised they wouldn't do when they think no one is watching. We are all sneaky creatures at heart. I remember being asked a question as a child: what would you do if you believed you could get away with it? That question sticks with me till today. The possibilities are endless. Naturally, I never openly answered, and if I did, I would give shy, coy answers such as, have ice cream before dinner. I wouldn't have said anything that would have distressed my family or their sense of well-being. They thought I was odd enough as it was. Why guarantee myself a one-way trip to a psychiatrist? I had many dark thoughts as a child, and I still have them as an adult. Nothing that would harm anyone. Well, I did briefly consider kicking someone off a horse once, but I digress. To the reader who was trying to understand her dilemma, I simply explained, perhaps you like the darker characters because you see a bit of yourself in them. She didn't want to accept that, and seemed shocked by the suggestion. After all, some of the protagonists had done some truly heinous deeds over the course of the books. She did admit, however, that her pity for the dark characters was due to the fact I'd made them so human. It wasn't all their fault. Circumstances led them there. Circumstances that could have happened to any of us. She bid me a good evening and moved on to her next read, promising she'd purchase my entire new series when all the books came out at the end of the year. That's the thing about morally grey characters. They invite you over to their side and leave you questioning your ethics and morals long after the last page is read.